Hey everybody, it's Joel here at Design Flow Labs, and in today's video, we want to talk about using ProcFu mini apps to build a Podio client portal. Walk you through a brief demo of what we were able to do as well. So before we jump into ProcFu, let's talk for just a minute about why we looked to a solution like ProcFu and ProcFu mini apps, to help us solve this problem. As many of you are familiar with Podio, you all understand that Podio is a very, very powerful platform in terms of organizing our information into apps and workspaces, collaborating with teams, as it relates to things like projects or sales and CRM activities, all kinds of different use cases. And it was very, very focused on internal collaboration. And over the years, Podio did provide some good use cases through things like web forms, the ability to share individual, records or items out to external people outside of our organization or outside of our workspace, that helped us kind of bridge that gap between internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. But for design flow and for a lot of our clients, we sometimes found that those options to be kind of limited, right? For us, the effort of managing all of our client work in potentially different workspaces, whether that was within each client workspace or, having clients come into, specialized records within our environment, it just got to be a little bit cumbersome and a little bit too much. We really couldn't work the way we wanted to with our clients as we originally envisioned. The other issue that we kind of ran into when we looked to mini apps and a client portal to help us solve is that as we had different projects and different work items generated with each of these projects get created, our system and our method to keep our clients up to date on those updates, around those work items was to send an email. And oftentimes the email would have a lot of the information, but it caused a lot of kind of email overload for our clients if they had different projects going, multiple work items. They were always looking for that specific email to that specific work item to approve a specific, piece of development work that may have been done. So, it kind of got us away from the original ethos of leveraging Podio, which, was to get us out of all of that, update and status and things like that inside of email. So, the final thing that we found with mini apps, and it was a little bit timely, is obviously the license model change, that Podio had implemented, to where they limit the client role. So, as many of you know, this was just recent in the last few months. Podio, in an effort to align to other, low code, no code type platforms in the industry, changed their license model so that you could still have clients come into your items and not be a license cost. They could be free, but they lost ability in terms of interacting with those records. So, it's one thing to be able to invite, say, a client into an item in Podio and have them view information, maybe comment on information, but it limited us in the capability for that client to actually take action against that record, whether it was clicking an approve button or whatever the case may be. So that change just kind of lined up a little bit to what we were already working on from a client portal standpoint with ProcFu mini apps. But we definitely feel like ProcFu mini apps could be a good solution for a lot of customers who might be struggling with that same kind of use case. So let's talk real quick about the solution and what we were able to do through mini apps. We were able to create a branded client-facing portal for our external users. So as Design Flow Labs, as a Podio partner, we're working with different clients, on different projects or different work items, is what we call them. Work requests coming in, whether it be an issue or a change or a new build, whatever the case may be. Our customers are now able to come back to their own individualized portal and see all of that work in one place. In addition to being able to see all that work in one place, they're able to interact with it as well. So for us, it was more economical to build this out from a client portal perspective than to look at how we would adjust the Podio licensing to allow for different users to come into different workspaces or share items to people as client, type users and go through that whole game. We just felt this was, much cleaner, much more economical for us, to share and collaborate on those Podio items with our external users, our clients. And really what we found at the end of the day is it simplified the process, for our customers to interact and work with us, on all of the work items we have going. So again, it kind of got us out of that problem I described earlier where, different work items, different updates, triggering lots of emails to keep track of and sorted. We feel this really streamlined that process. So that said, what I want to do is I want to walk over to ProcFu, give you kind of an overview of ProcFu mini apps, some of the things it's capable of, a little bit of the background, and then kind of go into a little bit of what we built and how that works, just so you can get a taste of, what's possible, from a ProcFu mini apps perspective. So ProcFu mini apps actually is a few different things. It was first and foremost an extension to what was formerly GlobiFlow, the workflow automation solution. And ProcFu bought a lot of additional capabilities in terms of scripting, extending the power of Podio workflow automation through the ProcFu engine. So a lot of times, people were looking for different things they could do in a workflow, might require, a little bit more complex scripting or a little bit more complex, work. ProcFu acted as a bit of an extension to be able to do that. And it was really helpful for a number of use cases there when it came to workflow automation. But what ProcFu also did is they also released what they call App Builder. And App Builder is what we used and what you'll see here in a minute, to create our customer portal. I'm here on the ProcFu page, the landing page for the App Builder. You can see there's a lot of content already in here. There's a separate Podio workspace, for ProcFu users. There's a lot of good information there as well, just like the Podio forums. And it allows us to do things just like you see here. So we were able to create a customer portal. We're looking at building out an employee portal to go along with the Podio HR app pack that we released. You can really simplify down the mobile actions, and what you expose from a mobile standpoint, to users that you might be interacting with, on your records. You can create dashboards. There's all kinds of cool stuff you can do here with App Builder. And I think actually even what we did just kind of started to scratch the surface. So again, if some of these use cases, start to trigger some ideas, I highly recommend, getting into the ProcFu site, maybe going over and getting into the ProcFu, or signing up for ProcFu and then getting into the ProcFu, users workspace and just seeing some of the cool things that, different clients and partners have built there. Because again, I think it fills a pretty big gap that a lot of Podio clients have run into. So that being said, let's actually go over to ProcFu real quick. So what I did is I navigated over here to apps, and that's what I'm doing is my portal is just an app in ProcFu, a ProcFu mini app. So what I'm doing is I'm on just the initial build out here, right? I'm not going to go through and obviously build out an entire portal, but I wanted to give you kind of an idea as to what goes into some of the thoughts and structure of ProcFu mini apps, so you can get an idea as to how we then made the jump to a fully functional portal. So with any application or any portal, you first and foremost want to start with authenticating somebody. So, for our clients, obviously when I have client A log in, I only want client A to see their projects and their associated work items. I don't want the commingling of all of that client information, obviously. That was the whole reason that we were building the client portal out to begin with. So the first thing we did is we just, right out of the gate said we're creating a screen called Start Login. And what we're doing is from an authentication standpoint is we're actually pointing back to a special Podio app in our environment that contains usernames and passwords. In our version of the portal, the users have the ability to go in and reset their password, change it to whatever that might need to be, and it works really, really well so far. So from what we've seen, but there are lots of different authentication types. all with pros and cons. I don't necessarily have time to go into. But again, if you get into the forums and kind of start looking at different use cases, you'll see there's an option to have folks authenticate with their Podio account. You can have them authenticate through Google services. The option that we went with was just a username and password that's being captured from a contacts app, a special app inside of our Podio environment. So once you do that, then what you can do is you can create a number of screens. And if you think about, any kind of user portal you've ever been to, it's just a series of screens that all present different information. So, if I want to add a screen, now what I'm able to do is I'm able to go get information from Podio and bring that information forward in a number of different screen types, that allow me to present that to my clients inside of the portal. So, one of the most common ones, and you'll see this here in a minute, is a data summary list. Data summary list could be just a table of records or items, in our case, work items that the client might have open at any given time. And that screen might connect to a data detailed record, which means that, hey, if I see a project and I click into it, I'm able to see certain details. Or if I see, an individual item record in a list up here, I'm able to click into it and see certain pieces of information. And if you're familiar with the way that Podio web forms work, where you can select in the web form what fields you want exposed in the web form, ProcFu is very, very similar from that perspective. So again, like you'll see here, not all of the fields that exist in, say, our projects app inside of Podio, not all of those fields are exposed inside of the client portal. And in turn, each of the work items that's tied off of that project, it does provide, some pretty good information, but it doesn't provide all of the fields that are available inside of the app to us working internally. So let's actually bounce over and show you an example here. So where I want to start is right under the hood with our design flow internal environment. So, just the way that we're set up, we try to keep it very simple. We've got project records, and each of those project records can contain any number of work items. And a work item, like I said, is really just an individual record. So you can see here I've got a design flow test project. I've got a client project lead. This is really important to, like I said earlier, being able to present certain information, to folks in the portal. I can see, just very easy status type, project dates, things like that. If I scroll down a little further, I see I've got two work items open. So test work item 1, test work item 2. And if I pop over here, I can see some certain information, right? I can see the work item name, I can see the status, I can see, what type it was, there's notes. Right now there's nothing for the client to do. But again, in the spirit of not wanting to have all of this information, completely accessible to outside external users in the portal, we were able to kind of build out ProcFu mini apps, in order to handle that. So if we come into one of these work items, let's say we come into work item 1, just to kind of show you the way that we've got this built out. There we go. Let's say that I've got an update for this client. This is fixed. What we often like to do is include just a quick video overview or recap of the work that was done, kind of a showback, a video showback. In this case, I'm just going to put our website. Usually that's a Loom link, but we'll do that. And then what we do is we move it from our side to client review. So this is now, where the collaboration handoff moves from our team to our clients via the client portal. And like I said, prior to this, a lot of things were happening via email. There's still are emails that are sent out to clients, and that's to let them know that there's an update in the portal. So what we opted to do is we opted to present kind of the core information in the email, but then link them back to the portal, so they could go back and look at that item. So any email they get about, an item moving to in progress or being ready to review, Again, rather than having to take action or find that specific email to take that specific action, all of the email updates link them back to the portal. So let's go ahead and go into the portal. So this is what our portal looks like. So there's a lot of capabilities that you have in ProcFu mini apps, in terms of branding, customizing, getting the look and feel specifically the way you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and authenticate. So I'm going to use our support at designflowlabs.com account because that is the account that I've got those projects and work items tied to. And I'm going to log in. And we'll see here that the first thing out of the gate is I can see the list of projects I've got open. Now, if you recall, the only project I have open, for this account, this test account, is this individual project. So you'll see here, we add a little bit of a personalization, element. So welcome back, Joel. I've got my navigation links at the top here, that we'll go over in just a minute. But I can see my project. So I can see the status, dates. Some of our clients, if it's a monthly retainer, they want to set a budget of hours to be used every month versus just, let's get in and work on things in more of an ad hoc manner. So what I'm able to do now is I'm able to click into that, just like we talked about a little bit earlier with the ProcFu screens, and I'm able to see certain information as an external user, now presented to me, directly from that data inside of Podio. So I can see the project status, I can see, no hours yet have been worked against our budget for the month, but I can also see both of our work items. And we're able to click into either one of those from here. So we can actually do this real quick. So to look at a work item at the individual work item level, we can see, again, we're presenting the status, the type, current status note. This one at one point was marked ready to review. But let's come back up. Because the other thing we've been able to do is we've been able to build roles inside of the portal, right? So if you are, say an executive at one of our clients, and you are kind of the owner of the platform and want to see all of the work, you're able to see all of the projects for the organization. And if you come over to all work items, you'll see all work items that the organization has going on for you as a client. Otherwise, if you're not tagged, as a manager, basically, when you come in, there's no projects link. There's no projects screen for them to navigate to, and it just says my work items. So again, there's a lot of capability in ProcFu mini apps to help you kind of slice and dice the information and present it exactly like you want to your external users. So let's talk real quick about being able to interact now with that information. So if you recall, I moved that test work item 1 over to client review. So our client, if you remember, got an email, this is fixed. It's got a thing, a video here ready for them to look at. But we can see now we've got a new option. So what's our next step? This is for the client, to take. So at this point, the client's able to leave us a comment. This works directly with the commenting fields inside of Podio, from the internal side. They're able to say, I want to revise the work. I want to mark the work complete, or I want to cancel it altogether. So let's say they're like, yep, the fix is good. I'm going to leave a comment. Everything looks good. Oh, I want to do that first. That's right. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to mark this as work is complete. And then if I want to, I can come in and say, there we go. So you'll see here my work item's now been moved to client approved, right? So that handoff has now been made from the client back to us inside of design flow. And if I come back in, I can see here that my Podio item has been marked as client approved. And I received their comment that the fix worked. So, again, gives us a really good, clean, branded way for us to interact with our clients and stakeholders externally. And there's a lot of use cases for that within the Podio ecosystem. So again, Whether you're an organization who is trying to track a lot of client work and communicate client status and updates, or have your clients collaborate with you, you can do that through mini apps. You can come in here. I can have them create a new work item themselves. So, we still do have an email intake process, but they're able to come in here, create a new item. It gets routed into our team, and we're able to bring things in from an intake perspective as well. But this form like this could be applied to things, like we saw on the ProcFu page, like an employee portal. This could be an employee portal where somebody comes in and says, I need to request time off, or I have a question about benefits, or I need to make, a contact information change. Anything that could be related to the work that your HR team is doing in Podio, which is a really good example of, you probably want to have that locked down to a very limited number of people who are able to see all of that information and interact with that information. You would not want all of your employees living inside of your, HR workspace inside of Podio. So again, a ProcFu mini app would be a really great way to build an employee portal in that use case, to collect information, intake requests, and then communicate updates back and forth with those external users. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you've got questions, if there's anything we can help with or answer, if you're interested in getting started with ProcFu mini apps, or wondering, about some good resources for that, hit the contact us link below. Certainly happy to schedule some time and see how we can help. Otherwise, subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for more content like this. And until then, have a great day.